Alright guys, before we head into the video, I must remind you that this is not a YouTube channel, this is a movement. I am completely intent on becoming your solution to wokeness in media and wokeness in storytelling, but I need your guys' support. My books were made with creativity and imagination in mind. The only reason why I am doing this channel is to get out to you, my audience, who are not feminists and who are not gay. Right now, storytelling in all of our media is made for the feminists and the gays. You have one guy. I went out of my own way to become your solution. I don't have to be doing this. So again, guys, are you done with wokeness in media, wokeness in storytelling? Do you want great stories that should be in our movies and in our games? Then I ask you, give me a chance and support our movement. Pick up my books and please leave a review. Listen, man, I'm not here for any other reason. And if you've ever spent $70, $60, $50 on a woke game, then all I ask out of you is $5. So you either want somebody to be the solution, and I will not stop until you get the games and the movies that you deserve, but we have to start somewhere. So go into my video description. You will find the link to Charles Arlington on Amazon. Find one of my books, pick it up. Listen, man, I have the best stuff that's out there, but I can't keep doing this if you don't prove to me that you guys exist. You might not think it matters, but for every single one of you that picks up one of my books and you leave me a review, it is through this singular action that we will spread the word and reach out to more guys like yourself, delivering our solution to wokeness in media, wokeness in storytelling. Do you want the next creative mind that is going to give exactly to you what it is that you say that you want? Then let's go, man. Join up with me. Join up with our movement. Join the few guys that are willing to get behind this. Pick up one of my books and let's go. All right, guys. Isn't it funny that The Witcher, by the way, down here, they have on their profile picture Geralt of Rivia. And we already know that Witcher 4, we have now just completely moved on from Geralt. Now, I have to tell you something. I already made a video covering this, and I'm actually going to make another video coming up soon covering the Game Awards, a live reaction to it all right? We're going to be watching back through it, the live stream, all right? Just to react to everything that it was. But of course, here, I want to sit down with you guys and directly address. I've already addressed this before. In my previous video, it's Shill Awards, all right? I already addressed this in the topic video, but regardless, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about The Witcher 4. We're going to watch the cinematic in its full entirety. You're going to see it here. And I'm going to talk to you about what the F they're screwing up right here. So let's get into it. Oh, whoops, wait. Oh, yeah, we got to have volume. Here we go. I'm hoping it's not too loud. Sometimes the music's loud and then the voices are quiet. Whatever.
Dearest daughter, I've watched ye grow from a devilishly curious child into a remarkable young lass with much grace, wisdom, and kindness.
Again, we already have to give a bunch of affirmation to this woman.
Times what shape is nay. 'Tis how we rise to face the hard times. What does that for us?
What's difficult? Getting married off to a man of higher status?
Goal.
Okay.
You've the spirit to overcome adversities aplenty.
What's the adversity?
Darling. Sweeten.
What? Why? Why is it to write like that?
Ye fill out your destiny.
Oh, wait. Is she being sacrificed? I don't know. See, what you think right now is that she's being coronated for a marriage. That's what you think. And that's what everyone thinks when they watch this. But I guess she's going to be sacrificed to something. That's what I thought when I originally addressed this, but it doesn't matter. The optics is all that matters. It looks like she's about to be wedded off to a guy. That's what you get the idea of. And that's what they do want you to think of that. They want you to think of this being synonymous to that.
Forgive me, daughter. 'Twere my only choice.
I shall be the bringer of salvation.
Of course, it's a woman that's be the bringer of salvation, even though historically it's always been men
Witcher!
who are the
whose
bringer
coin
of
did you
salvation.
take? Nay, you can't. 'Tis tradition. Chosen she is, by the gods!
No! You chose her.
Oh my gosh, bro, they want this. You know what this is? It's a freaking allegory. It's literally an allegory. Everyone's gonna be like, it's actually about she's being sacrificed because of tradition to a monster. Bro, this is what old fiction used to be at times, not all the time, but sometimes it was a stand-in for actual topics. This is literally a stand-in. Again, I'm just now realizing this now that we're actually watching this in full. Everyone thinks this is about marriage. And the developers wrote it. And then people are, the freaking libtards are gonna be like, oh, haha, you're so stupid. This is actually about a woman because of tradition being sacrificed to a monster. And then Ciri, as a witcher, she got hired to kill the monster instead so that her life would be saved. Oh, haha, you guys are so stupid. You always think it's about wokeness. You freaking retard. It's a stand-in for an actual topic that actual feminists, which you are, you freaking moron, which actual libtard feminists, they give a big crap about how a woman is married off. Screw you, we know what this is about. But they're doing this as a stand-in. Oh, it's just a monster. Oh, a monster? You mean a man that this woman did not choose for marriage? Uh-huh. Gee, I wonder if this is an allegory towards anything. I wonder. It's not hard, bro. It's not hard to think of. But apparently it takes a genius nowadays.
Back to the village. Go, now.
Nay! I must save them! Save the village!
Save yourself!
But you know what? It actually makes sense, though, in this plot. She is supposed to sacrifice herself so that the village, doesn't get freaking devoured by this monster. That's their tradition. Well, that makes sense. You have to sacrifice one person, I guess a virgin bride, basically. You have to sacrifice her for the sake of everyone else. And then Ciri, later in this trailer, calls everyone monsters over this. Really? Really? Like, okay, so what? This beast, or whatever it should just kill everybody? Is that what you're saying? I mean, the message, bro, even when the wokies, like, they always get it wrong. Every time. Jeez Louise.
Run! To shelter! To your father! Run!
By the way, they added more pudge, and they basically Karenized Ciri's face. She is not as attractive as she was in the previous game. She does not look like the way she looks like in the previous game. This is ridiculous. They uglified her, and this other chick, she's not attractive. The virgin bride, she's not that attractive. But they do this because their ESG, CD Projekt Red, has bent the knee to the DEI, and they have to make sure that freaking straight white males can't get their rocks off to straight white females. Of course, they don't want Ciri to be straight. They want her to be a lesbian. And by the way, I have a whole thing about that. I do talk about that in the previous video that I discussed this in. Regardless, I don't think Andrzej wanted Ciri to be a lesbian. But she was supposed to be a tomboy, which means she's awkward at a young age with boys. But she's gonna grow into a woman. That was the idea in the first book. So I don't know if he just doubles back off of that and he's like, oh no, she's supposed to be a lesbian. I have no idea. Anyways. Gee, wow, the monster seems really very real. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why the village is trying to sacrifice one person to save everyone else. It looks like this is actually a pretty big threat. Wow. Gee, I wonder why they're doing this. Wow, they're so evil, right? These are evil people. Uh-huh. A lot of people have a problem with this, that she's not supposed to be drinking this tonic because she's never gone through the trials of the grasses. So I think this is supposed to kill Ciri, like outright. I'm pretty sure, or severely injure her. And her being the chosen one or whatever the frick means nothing when it comes down to the tonic. This is why Geralt and the other Witchers, they never allowed her to do this. I think they tried to microdose her, as I remember, in the first book. But they never tried to actually get her on the full thing because it was going to kill her. Or I think it would have turned her into a boy, something like that. I forget. My gosh, see, and then it gets super loud. It wasn't that loud. Man, these trailers, bro, drives me nuts. Gee, I wonder why maybe these people for generations didn't want to hire a Witcher to fight this thing because the Witcher could have died. Gee, that's really interesting. I wonder why they believe in a tradition where we don't hire someone to kill this thing and instead we just follow tradition where we just sacrifice one of ourselves every couple cycles. So that then this thing does not kill the rest of us. Oh, but they're monsters. I forgot about that.
You can't change anything.
Again, this is an allegory, a stand-in for women getting married off. This is a stand-in for a feminist point, a feminist propagandistic viewpoint. Wait. I don't think it works like that. Isn't Ciri supposed to just be able to... Bro, it's been so long since I finished Witcher 3, but isn't she just supposed to be able to phase around? I mean, to me, what I expected in this scene is that she's supposed to phase out of the clutches of this monster, probably come out from behind or above somewhere, and then strike. But instead she does an electric punch? I don't know about that. It just doesn't seem right to me. Man, this would be so cool if it were freaking Geralt, bro. I want this to be Geralt. This is a woman having a man's journey, a man's scene, a man's story, she is inside of a man's role right now. And this is so lame because it's a freaking woman. Okay? It's decent choreography for the most part. It's not really that bad. It feels like Witcher for the most part. I'm going to talk about this in a second here, though. Witcher was never about Ciri. And it was never about her being the titular character. Hold up, let's go back on that. Wow, you killed the evil patriarchal monster that is marrying off young virgin brides to a man not of their choosing. And Ciri, the girl boss, the woman to prove that women are just like men, by the way. Oh, something about feminism there. Women are just like men. They can do anything a man does. It's so wrong and evil that women get married off to a man not of their choosing. Thank God a strong woman who overcame the patriarchy. She's the chosen one after all. She slayed that tradition, and now she freed the young virgin bride. Am I right? Sisters? Fellow sisters? Am I right? Ladies? Gee, I wonder what this is about. I wonder what this is about. Gee, I wonder if this is an allegory.
She went to go to the woods. The chosen one. His tradition.
I guess she got murdered or killed, whatever. So again, these people believed in their tradition so much that they were like, no, you can't come back, so we're going to kill you. Okay. So she has no choice.
It's all we wanted. For her to go to the woods. To go to the gods.
Gods? There are no gods here. There are only monsters.
So do you mean that about the people who are taking puberty blockers and putting a bunch of kids on those things? And are you talking about, I don't know, illegal immigration? Like, are we trying to talk about something that is heavily right-wing? Or are we trying to talk about something here that's heavily left-wing? I wonder what it is. I wonder what the point is that they're trying to push, right? Because I'm guessing it has something to do with nothing. Something having to do with just right-wing politics. Oh, that's right. No, it has everything to do with a left-wing point of view. So again, let's just finish this out. Yeah, and then Ciri's upset and she's gonna slay the entire village. Okay. You know, I feel like even in Witcher 3, if Geralt made that decision, I mean, I'm not against a male character having that decision, but I'm going to be honest for a second there. Right now, people will, I think, would have a problem with it. It's like, well, Geralt, you shouldn't necessarily slay everybody because they're following their tradition and blah, blah, blah. But of course, now we're here where a woman's doing it. A woman wants to slay the village because apparently they're evil, right? And I don't think anyone's really going to question it, if I'm being honest. Because right now, nobody is questioning it. Because everyone's like, oh, well, obviously a woman who's destroying the patriarchy, of course she should just slay these evil people who are following tradition. Obviously. So anyways, that's the end of it. That's Witcher 4. They announced it. So now, of course, what do I have to share with you? What do I have to talk about regarding all of this? Let's mute it and let's talk. All right, give me a moment. Okay, here we go. So, the Witcher series was always about Geralt of Rivia, a man, and other men, other Witchers, they were expecting the end of the world. And they were expecting that the Chosen One, who was going to help them either fight the end of the world, possibly resolve it, something, who knows. I mean, I think Geralt was always supposed to die. That's what they said since book 1. But anyways, he was destined to die, regardless of anything he does. But he prepares the Chosen One, who they were expecting to be a male, a boy. He was supposed to train him to ward off the end of the world. Okay? And of course, they ended up having a girl, which I think for Anders' age was just a play on ideas. It wasn't so much about politics, even though, yes, he does, he's a little bit of a feminist and he pushes a little bit of that stuff. But he doesn't try to push anything too much. Like literally, there's a whole point about Ciri and the trials of the grasses and the tonics that she's taking to try and administers some of the effects, I believe, of the Witchers, but like she can't go full-fledged with it because she's a girl, and it would inhibit her pubescent development. And there was a whole point about it by Triss and Yennefer in the book, the first book, and also, you know, surrounding it after, where they want to make sure that Ciri grows up as a woman and that she does not have her pubescent development hindered, because then she would, of course, rightfully so, hate Geralt. Because Geralt, right, if he focuses down on training Ciri like the boy that he and the other Witchers were expecting her to be, then she was going to turn out to be basically like a boy, or her development was going to just simply be masculine, to the point that she was never going to develop breasts and she was never going to be able to flesh out as a woman. So Triss and Yennefer, they want her to wear dresses and her to wear makeup and her to just practice mannerisms like a woman and not like a boy. And they, you know, and they were trying to make a compromise between Ciri having to be trained for combat, but also Ciri needs to be raised like a woman. So that was a huge point. And there was even a point where basically, I mean, it's analogous, but I don't think it was intended to be, where basically Ciri, you know, part of her felt like she was a boy and that she was supposed to be a boy. And I don't remember if she wanted to like transition or whatever, but, you know, Triss and Yennefer, to whatever extent that was there, they sat there, and I forget which one. I think it was Triss that stepped in the way of that, talking. I think her and Ciri have a conversation about that. And she tells Ciri that, you know, she should, whatever. There was some kind of dialogue, couple of paragraphs about it, where Triss is just basically like, you're going to be a girl, all right? And don't allow the men to push you too heavily into becoming a warrior, basically like a boy, because that's what a boy is. And it was very well understood in the world of Witcher that women only become either wives or witches, and not witchers or soldiers or anything that the men became. The men become warriors, and that's it. So there's that sense of just traditional gender roles. Of course, there's a little bit of the bending with the fact that if you're a witch, you're more promiscuous, and you're kind of bending the expectations of gender roles, where you're supposed to be modest and you allow yourself to be a baby oven for a bunch of nobles and all that. There's a whole point about that, which nothing wrong with that. But of course, you know, that was a little bit of the woke feminist point that Anders Age, I think, was probably trying to make through that, which I'm not a big fan of, but whatever. You know, the rest of it, though, is largely traditional male and female masculinity and femininity, all right? So there's no problem there. Now, again, the story was always about not Ciri. It was about Geralt and the characters revolving around Geralt and how they raise a young girl that they were expecting to be a boy. How do they raise her? Regardless of, I mean, it's just like a play on ideas. It's kind of subversive. It's like, it's supposed to be a boy, a man that saves the world, right? That is the sacrificial figure. This is the way it's always been throughout history. And it's a play on ideas. It's a girl, happens to be a girl. By the way, the flaming chain whip. All right, guys, I just did the whole freaking rest of the video. It wasn't recorded, so just screw my freaking existence. Anyways, listen, the chain whip, I don't really have a big issue with it, but who gives a freaking crap? All right, I was talking about, listen, Christianity, that's where the first universities came from. Catholics and Protestants, that's where it came from. Science, the freaking philosophy, writing, higher learning, higher education, that's where it all came from, all right? Thank God for colonization. Thank God for them going across the world and getting rid of these freaking savages. Vikings and their paganism, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Native Americans and their freaking savagery. They were the ones who colonized the world and they civilized it. Enough with demonizing religion. I had a far more eloquent way of saying that, but whatever. Next, outside of this point, they keep on trying to, this is an allegory for women getting married off. Guess what? Men didn't have a choice throughout history. Men were pushed off into war and they died in massive droves. Okay? And by the way, very real monster in this that could very well likely kill a witcher. I wonder why they have a tradition where they're like, no, we're not going to hire anyone to try and kill this thing because that person's just going to die and it's going to piss this thing off. So instead, instead of hiring someone to piss this thing off, we're going to follow tradition. And if you don't follow tradition, you're going to be killed when you come back to the village, and we're going to send someone else out that's going to then go to this thing and follow tradition. Oh, gee, I wonder why they do that. Oh, but they're evil, right? No, it's not that. There's a very real freaking living creature that's going to maim these freaking people. Gee, I wonder why they're following tradition. Yeah, and the series says that they're monsters. Whatever, screw yourself. Then we also have this chick who is right here. She's right here. She is stabbed. Okay, whatever. Who cares? So anyways, she's stabbed and she's sitting there. How many times do you think throughout history you've seen we're trying to sit here and get our freaking rocks off. Oh my gosh, patriarchy's so evil. Woman couldn't choose her husband, blah, blah, blah. How many men do you think have a severed head and someone's holding them like this and they're looking you in the eyes? How many times do you think that's happened throughout history? Because a bunch of men did not choose that they had to go out to war and die. How many times? This is not evil. What you should be pissed off about are all the men in history that never had a choice. Not the women who didn't have a choice, because also women, they're terrible at mate selection. They're freaking retarded. And at the end of the day, brothers, uncles, and fathers, they select better than women, and they select for men who are not losers. By the way, I'm making multiple points. I don't have to make these multiple points, whatever. Fathers, brothers, and uncles, they would select for men that had higher status. Why? They selected for men with higher status because so that these women could live longer. Because when you're in a noble family, or you marry off to a prince, for one, you're a part of now a higher rung of people. But also, by the way, you're going to live longer. Your kids are going to live longer. So, gee, I wonder why. Most people, they only lived until they were 30 or 40. The nobles, they could live 50, 60, or 70 if they were lucky. Okay? Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why it was so important to marry off your daughter to someone of higher status. I wonder why. Okay? And demonizing patriarchy and also tradition. Screw yourself. And yeah, I'm freaking pissed. I spoke about this in an eloquent way. So screw this stupid freaking video. I'm freaking pissed off. Screw this. Literally made this whole freaking point already. But here we are. We have to go through the same freaking points. Outside of that, here we are. We're acting like, what else? I can't even remember. So anyways, what we have here is just propaganda where we're trying to demonize the idea of what people did for many generations for a good reason. Because they were trying to avoid real problems. If you allowed your freaking daughter to marry whoever, and by the way, yeah, okay, what are women most attracted to? Status. Outside of status, a really good looking dude who's typically freaking jacked. Okay, guess how many men back then were even jacked? Most people were going through a famine. They were famished. They were starving day in and day out, or something like that, or close to it, whatever. Okay, it was very rough. Especially in snowy regions, it was very difficult for them. So, gee, I wonder why you would try to marry your daughter up to a man of higher status, by the way, which is something that women are attracted to. It's the same thing as trying to marry your son off to a woman with huge breasts, attractive, thin, shapely woman. The whole thing, the whole 9 yards. Wow, evil patriarchy. You're trying to get your son, or matriarchy even, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it would even be. Oh, wow, you're trying to force your son to get with a chick that's hot. Oh, wow. Women are attracted to status. Number one thing. Okay, and most men, they couldn't get jacked back then. There wasn't enough food to go around. Okay, so of course women should have and wanted to be with men all throughout history, even including today, with men of status. So it makes no sense that they're sitting here and they're trying to vilify a woman getting married off to a man not of her choosing, because she's getting with a man that is of the best choosing. No one is screwing her over in this. And by the way, women have never been oppressed throughout history. Women have always been the most privileged. They've always had the most options. And we're sitting here, we're acting like they are oppressed. No, the many men who died in wars, those are the guys who you could ever say were oppressed. Okay, this is stupid. This is made up. And screw this freaking video, because I literally recorded this. I was going on for a long time about all this. I was making a bunch of stipulations, blah, blah, blah. So screw it all. Anyway, this is unrealistic. This is CD Projekt Red throwing their freaking politics in. And this is stupid. This is propaganda. What they're trying to do here, where it's like, oh wow, it's so wrong, so evil. By the way, that chick's not that attractive. Anyways, and I think I was talking about the books. Was I talking about the books? I forget when I was talking about the books. Anyways, the whole idea about the first book is that basically Triss and Yennefer, they wanted Ciri to grow up as a girl. She wasn't being developed as a girl because she was being raised by the Witchers, because the Witchers were expecting a boy. So there's that whole point also right there. And anyways, just again, there is no freaking Witcher series without Geralt of Rivia, because the Witcher series was always about a freaking buff dude, a freaking cool dude slaying monsters, and also going through freaking hot chicks, just getting laid left and right. Okay, that's all it was ever about. This game, what's it going to be about? Is it going to be about Ciri just getting laid with a bunch of freaking random men? Who knows? No one wants to see a bunch of random naked dudes, and we don't want to just see Ciri naked. We want to see multiple different hot chicks naked. That's what we want to see. So again, you're missing that entire aspect. So are they going to make her a lesbian so that she sleeps around with a bunch of chicks? Which is just stupid and it's degenerate and it's freaking horse crap. Or is she going to be sleeping around with a bunch of dudes? Because that's gay. If you're going to buy this game, you're gay. If you're here to look at a bunch of naked dudes and just naked Ciri, that's not good enough. If it's Lara Croft, I get it. It's not Lara Croft. It's not Samus Aran. Okay, it's Ciri. Let's just face it. She's not those freaking women. Okay, so we want to see Triss, Yennefer, and women like them, Shani, whoever. We want to see them naked, but we're not going to get that in this game. So we're already sacrificing so much that made the Witcher series great. The books and the games. And now we're here. We are on a man's journey, but as a woman. This is stupid. And again, the whole thing about just culture and how this whole trailer is about trashing on religion, patriarchy, and history of tradition, okay? Of everything, just everything that used to be traditionalism through and through. This woke company went out of their way. They wanted to make a trailer, and the rest of what we're going to see, she's probably going to be a lesbian. If she's not, okay, whatever, but they're going to make allegories, many liberal allegories through their stories in this game. That is what I am being told. That's what's being choreographed through this trailer right here. I don't like it. And on top of it, just objectively speaking, this is stupid because you're demonizing something from throughout history that worked for everybody. And most importantly of all, not importantly, rather, but for the person it worked most for, was for women. And now we're demonizing this. We're demonizing something, saying that's oppression of women, something that didn't work well for men, most men, throughout history. Most men were not high status. And most men didn't have a choice of what they had to do. And most people were starving. So these women getting married off most often to the men of the highest status that the father or a brother or an uncle could provide to that woman. And we're acting like that's evil, that a woman's getting into a family of the best earning potential for the future, for in a village, in a region, whatever. A woman that's not going to get freaking slain during a war. A woman that's not going to starve during a famine. A woman that's whatever, go down the list. This is stupid. And they are just pushing their egalitarian liberal politics. And holy crap, dude, screw this freaking video. I had so much I was saying there. I'm sure there's a bunch of points I just missed now because we had to fast track this. I'm freaking pissed right now. I'm literally livid at the moment. So anyways, whatever. I got through the points with you. Screw this. It's not going to work. This is not what anyone wants. People want a freaking dude freaking running through chicks, hot chicks, and slaying monsters. That's not what this is. And we're not going to get to see a lot of sexy, hot, attractive women because one, CD Projekt Red, they went woke. So we don't even know if the women are going to be attracted in this game. And then also on top of that, okay, if there are attractive women, am I going to have to be a freaking lesbian all throughout the game? I guess so. That's gay. That's stupid. And again, one last thing. I don't know. I see a bunch of white people for this. Maybe we're going to stick to white characters. They better do that. But the other issue is, okay, I mean, they may or may not make super diverse populations in this game. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of Anglo-Saxon black people now all of a sudden. Oh yeah, you know those white cultures, Welsh people, British people, all of them. Yeah, a bunch of blacks in their ancestral history. Yeah, totally. Okay. Because now they believe that every race is every race, but specifically that everyone has a core racial identity with black people. For whatever reason, that's what leftists believe. They believe that Asians are Europeans, and they also believe that by, even further genetic coding, that somehow Asians have a deep ancestry with blacks. I don't know. Screw that stupid trash. It's just stupid. No race exists. Screw you. This game needs to be about white people. But if it is, I don't know if the women are going to be attractive. And if they are, well, okay, it's still lesbian dog crap, okay? And who knows, though? CD Projekt Red, very well likely, they're going to maybe stick in some gender androgyny dog crap in here. And also on top of that, they might make the groups and the cultures in this game heavily diverse. And I have heavy concerns for that. Anyways, man, before I start freaking raging even harder, let's just get on into the next video. I'm pissed.